Welcome to the Sellernomics podcast, where we share valuable tips and information in the Amazon and e-commerce space. Each week, we deliver the best interviews with some of the top Amazon personalities in the industry to help you grow your business. Today's episode is brought to you by Getida, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. And now, here is your host, Lisa Kinski.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Sellernomics. My name is Lisa Kinski. I'm your host for today, and my guest is Colin Raja today. He is an Amazon product launch expert, and we are going to be talking about the basics for a successful product launch on Amazon. So let's go on ahead and bring him on board. Colin, how are you?
I'm good, Lisa. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining me. So let's just jump straight into it then. I mean, you've been doing this for a very long time. You're a successful seller yourself, and you've been helping folks with launching their products. What do you think is the most common challenge that sellers face when setting up their basic listing? And what are some of the things you recommend they do to overcome those challenges?
So when it comes to basic things, I would say it's like most common issues what I'm happening is right now is like the browse nodes issues, and then a product type and item type, and then DOW and GL issues. Actually, those are like a super base. I've been talking about this for a super long right now. Why it's super basic is like, even though our algorithm change, even though a lot of things are happening right now in terms of like we're going into new ranking model at this point, if the basic is not set up right, nothing is going to work actually. So most of the people, what's happening is, right, they forgot to fact that don't understand how the browse nodes and product type and item type it's related to a launch actually. That's where I'm seeing most level of improvements what every seller needs to be designed towards, before even focus on like a PPC launch or whatever. That's where we need to be focused on at this point, actually.
And you just dropped a lot of terms people might not be familiar with, people being
Yeah.
me. So what are browse nodes?
Okay, browse nodes, it's like the back. So when we talk about in the front side, it's a category that what we see actually in the back side is something for the Amazon. It's like a browse nodes actually. So the browse nodes, how the Amazon has like every browse node has a node ID actually. So each and every browse node, which we refers to a product type ID, and it refers to a corresponding item type ID, and its corresponding GL, and the GL is like a general ledger, and a corresponding display on website, which has to be aligned properly. And if it's like your browse node is X, and if your product type is Y, and if your item type is like another like something else, then you're probably not able to rank any keyword at all in your listing actually.
Wow. That is a lot. That is a lot to go, like, because I feel like these are the first time I'm hearing these terms. Where do sellers even learn about browse nodes, the display on website you said? This all sounds like
Sure.
very technical back end.
Yeah, if you go to your listing, you know about the canonical keywords, right?
Hmm.
On the listing. So when you remove the canonical keyword, let's put it in a very realistic term. If you put amazon.com/dp/asin, then you will able to see on the top what is the browse node of your listing, first of all. I mean, you may surprise how many people doesn't know about this, very honestly. So when you have that one information, so you go to the help and type something called BTG, which is called Browse Tree Guide. When you type that one, you will get the whole information from Amazon, like what are the different categories, what is the browse node looks like. So you get the list of complete browse node and the corresponding ID. What it has is like basically it has um, um, root node, a branch node, and leaf node. Repeat again, a root node, a branch node, and leaf node. Your product should be in the leaf node. If the product is like in a root node or branch node, you messed up completely. So what is happening right now is like, it's okay, each and every leaf node will have the corresponding refinements. So the refinements is another topic what we can talk about it later in this conversation. But what is it happening is basically right now, Amazon the algorithm tend to change your listing, the backend attributes is basically like, let's say that you typed your keyword, the Amazon can able to go on and update your browse notes automatically, right? But it tends to not update your product type and item type. So that's where the mismatch and all the things are happening at this point in your listing.
Wow. And what about like for indexing your product? So that you're saying if the tree and the nodes are not set up correctly, I think of it as like a tree, right? You said a root, branch, and then leaf. It's like
Root, branch, and leaf. That's correct.
yeah.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
that's not set up right, you're not going to be able to index. You're obviously not going to be able to get any kind of bestseller ranking. You mentioned the URL to troubleshoot for that, but what other steps do sellers need to take to see if their listings are set up right?
Okay. So the first step is BTG guide. That's what you need to do. When your product was in a branch node or a root node, even if you put up a whole title, you will not get indexed for it at all, actually, right? So the first step where it start to do is like go to the product upload feature and then type your keyword and see that what are the relevant categories, what are the relevant browse nodes, item types are available for you. Once you take it, go on and check the browse node ID and everything, and check the refinements and check if you have the cross node, something like, okay, if the toys are selling in the home and kitchen as well, or home and kitchen or in the health, or health if it's in the sports and outdoors, if there is a cross node actually, if that exists, you can able to decide whether you want to be in the sports and outdoors or health or kitchen actually. So it depends on, sometimes you have like a one product type and item type but has like a multiple browse nodes actually for that one. So
Okay.
the better to do it is basically go on and check your competitor where they are in the browse node, whoever got like a highest ranking, and you should choose their browse node for you for a launch, because we know that one, if if your browse node is not right, you're probably not able to rank any keywords actually. If somebody was like already rank better keywords, that means that they already choose the better browse nodes. So follow the steps of like what is successful already. You don't have to reinvent anything new at this point.
Okay. And what about, I don't think you've mentioned it yet, but something called review splits you provided in the material before the episode. What are those?
Okay, so this has been happening most of the time actually. When it comes to, let's say that you have like crazy amount of, let's say that you have like a 10 variations actually, and each and every variation will have like a certain amount of reviews. Why? Because people purchase the product and leave the review for that ASIN specifically, right? Not for the parent. So parent will hold things together actually, basically, right? um, but when your product type and item type for your parent and then child mismatch happen, let's say that your parent listing has like a different browse node and you have a child variation has like different browse nodes and different attributes, whatever we talked about, then you possibly will have like a review split actually. So each and every agent will have their own reviews, and most of the people think that Amazon testing something and that's why the review was split. It's not the case. Most of the time it's like because there is a back end defect there, because you're already selling really good, that's why you're selling really well right now. If the product goes down at any point, you may have a hard time to bring your product back to sales actually where it was
And you're saying in the ranking, if it goes
in
down
the
in ranking,
ranking.
you could have
Exactly.
okay. And
Yeah.
so what are some things that could cause ranking to suddenly drop?
So when you the basic thing is like right now what I'm facing is at this point is when your basic setup is not right,
Okay.
right? When you're talking about all the basic setup is not right, you're probably not able to get a better relevancy than your competitor actually. So it's all about the relevancy score actually, right? So when it comes to a relevancy score, who has like a higher relevancy than other person competitor? If your competitor A has like all setup is right, and then they got like a little bit of clicks and sales actually, then they get like a better higher relevancy compared to you have a huge amount of clicks and huge amount of sales. So you may not able to get like the higher relevancy because your basic setup is not right. That's why sometimes if you go to the browse, when you go to the search engine, you type the keyword, the people who have like a low reviews, they don't even make sales, but the keyword, the product will be showed up on the top. The people who have a bestseller batch at Amazon choice, they show us up in the bottom actually. It's because the reason is like for that particular keyword, they got more relevant because the setup what they have is basically right for that particular keyword actually.
Okay. But is it possible that a seller, their basic setup could be incorrect or not optimized and they are still ranking in the beginning because of the honeymoon period and then that kind of ends and then it drops off? Does that have any
No,
impact on
there's a
this?
two reasons actually what happening. So if anybody was like selling really good before 2017 or before 2000 like 9 2021 and on this period of time actually, and
Mhm.
then they keep selling good, keep selling good very good. They don't have any problem with that listing actually.
Got
But
it.
in case, right, if they went out of stock, if they like the violation happened in the listing, they got down like for some reason, and that's where they get into trouble of like bringing them back again. So it is all about like a old listing and new listing. So as long as the one of the algorithm is like basically how they calculate the relevancy is like how they calculate the keyword score, which is like based on the sales from the keyword and product type, item type, score, and review score and rating score actually. So when they have like over when they're like outsell their score with the sales, they still able to rank keywords, but it's not going to last long. For it's not going to last long for long because the fact is that your basic setup will be end up in like a trouble when you going down in terms of like that's what happened with a lot of people when they were like in 2020 when the people COVID happened. There's a lot of listing went out of stock. They couldn't bring that product back up actually after that. Well, because all the basic setup is like what comes up first. They were like, okay, I got multiple requests from people like who was like selling like crazy. They have 20,000 reviews, 30,000 reviews, and then they were like selling like 100 units a day. They're like selling 200 units a day, and this one out of stock happen or some compliance issue comes with Amazon. They shut down their listing something for a week, and they couldn't bring that back again actually at all
Gotcha.
because when we check the listing again, it's like a more or less like a all messed up in the inside actually.
That is so frustrating and that's so damaging
Oh
to
yeah.
the
Oh my God.
business.
There's so
So
many people got damaged like that.
yeah. So how often should sellers be auditing for like cuz if your setup is right in the beginning, can something change on the back
Oh
end to
yeah.
like move your nodes from like leaf to
Oh yeah.
branch and root? Like how often should you be looking for
That's a
these sorts of
that's an
issues?
amazing question. Like so we have something called 300 checkpoint in a listing actually, right? So
300
300
checkpoint.
300 checkpoint. Yeah.
Okay.
So we release it to the other brands we work with actually. So we do for other people the 300 checkpoints actually. What is the use of it basically? Like we monitor those listings, what makes minimum $500,000 sales or $200,000, $300,000 sales. We make sure we monitor that listing like every single day or a weekly, 3 times a day, 3 times a week. We monitor that one basically because right now what changes happening in Amazon is like even you don't have to change anything, right? Let's say that you're getting a sales, 30% of sales come from some unwanted keywords. Amazon can add you as an attribution. That attribution can lead to change your browse nodes or product type and item type keywords actually.
Wow.
That will end up in like messing your whole listing. But if you checked it at the right time, you can able to correct it and bring it back again super fast. But let's say that you didn't check it at all. You one day you found that you heard about this browse node issue and all the things. You go on and check from after like a couple of months, and then you messed up. That's it. Your momentum is gone. Your keyword ranking is gone. Everything. You have no idea how many people reach out to me and ask about like hey, this happened during this time or period, and I don't know what happened. My ranking got dropped actually. Like they
Yeah.
got dropped crazy. And then when we checked the backend, I was like asking them, when is your browser changed? Why you didn't look up? Why this information is wrong? They don't even know how to check GL, first of all. Most of the people doesn't even know what is GL. That's called general ledger and DOW. I bet like not a lot of this called display on website. If those things are mess up, there's a lot of mess up things happen for your listing actually.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like it's crazy. It's literally crazy actually.
And before we go to our commercial break, for the issues that you're able to identify in this audit that your team is doing daily, are these issues that the seller can fix on their own, or do they have to contact
They can
Amazon to get these corrected?
sometimes you can fix it on your own when you have your contribution. See, okay, when Amazon touch your listing, right? Well, let's say that you get like a 30 percentage of sales come from certain keywords actually, right? Amazon thinks that that's an important keyword you need to be updated in your listing, just like your some of the informations like a color, sizing, and all the information how Amazon update. That's how they update your attributes as well. But most of the people doesn't know where they're updating the attributes, right? So when they updated that, and then that's where the problem comes in place that you know th- they take a contribution, they take a something called winning contribution. So when they update your listing, they become a winning contributor for the listing. So they will not allow you to change anything on your listing at all. So at that point, you need to contact them and ask them, hey, can you change the winning contribution back to me so you can change it on your own? Sometimes you must be lucky. You can get that in 24 hours. Sometimes it's like 2, 3 weeks to get that done, actually. I mean, we make like a 20, 30 calls to fix listings, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. But as long as they catch it, at least they know that one they are in a progress to fix that one. So that's what
Right.
we do with other brands. Like we let them know that, okay, hey, we're not monitoring alone. We just like making sure that we're letting them know that if something happened or something potentially could happen, we let them know that, hey, this is going to happen. Can you go and then take care of it? Or sometimes they will like say, can you able to fix it? So we will fix it for them as well. So it's important for you. You keep the monitoring important attributes in your listing. You need to make sure that you're monitoring if your ASIN is making minimum $500,000 or $200,000 or even $100,000 on this. If that's your hero product, you need to have all the data. That data will help you why your sales are up and why your sales are down actually, and any potential issues can be prevented out of this data actually if you have it.
Wow, that is a lot to unpack. We're going to let that soak in with the listeners for a second and have a quick commercial break, but we will be right back with Colin.
Boosting your Amazon profits has never been easier thanks to Getida. We handle the complex process of maximizing FBA refunds so you don't have to waste your time. Sellernomics listeners can claim a $400 offer by visiting Getida.com/Sellernomics. Stop wasting valuable time and start maximizing your Amazon profits today with Getida.
All right, y'all. Be sure to head over to Getida.com/Sellernomics for that first 400 in FBA reimbursements free. We are back with Colin Raja talking about the basics of a successful product launch on Amazon. So, Colin, can you share with us some real life examples of when you guys have identified an incorrect listing issue, corrected the problem for a seller, and kind of had a positive impact?
Yeah, so one of the time, one of the brand reach out. They basically had they selling like close to 500 units a day.
Okay.
Um, and then they haven't reached out to me. I've been reached out by one of the vendor actually. So basically, what happened is they were like something happened. They started selling like only 50 units out of 500.
Wow.
The best thing what everybody knows is like when the sales goes down, our ranking goes down. What they do basically, they immediately increase the PPC,
Hmm.
immediately start the giveaways actually. He did like a crazy giveaway, like crazy I'm talking about. I don't want to say the number actually. He did a crazy number giveaways and he's now moving anywhere from 230 position actually. He's in a 230 position. So, and then they reach out to me and I looked up listing and then I told them that your backend is messed up. I fixed that one. In a same night actually, they moved from 250 to like a second position actually.
Wow. So
Immediate
when
jump I'm talking about. It's like crazy jump actually what happened. But the point is, it's not like it's not going to sustain there. It shows that something is released actually. It's like something is holding and then something got released. And they moved to like a 15th position after that. It was isolation. But the point is, that's the time you need to run the stability launch campaign, actually, right? So they haven't done that one. They were like, okay, they leave it as it is actually completely. But at least they got that back, not a 500 sales. They got that back like a 300, 400 sales actually back again. They had like a huge amount of inventory in the warehouse. They were like super spreading like crazy. So
Oh
there are
yeah.
issues like that. Like there is one of the seller I work with. They were like this is a typical issue. I mean, I know he's even going to listen to this call actually for sure. So what happened is basically they reach out to me for a reason is like he checking the index for the whole title. He checking the index for a whole title. He copy the whole title, putting the ASIN and putting the whole title. This product is not showing up. That's insane. The combination does not exist. Your product needs to be show up for sure. If you like a 10 people have like a same listing, then only it's not going to show up on the top. It has to show up if you put a whole title, right? Even if you have an ASIN actually, right? There's no way that it's missing. So
Yeah.
what happened is they've been struggling on that almost like 3 to 4 months of period of time actually, right? And they reach out to me, and then when I check it, they've been mapped into a branch node actually.
Okay.
So it's like the branch node, it's not even like a real branch node. It's some garbage like a imaginary branch node name actually completely. So they mapped into that one and then end up in like they are not at all, they're not able to rank. The sales are like really nothing happening. And they were like trying to figure it out for 3 months. And we were getting to the call for like 20 minutes. And then we figured out the problem. They get back and then they fix it. They get went in drama place actually.
I bet
So
those calls on the other end is like, I'm so glad I called you, but I'm so frustrated I waited for so long. Like relief and also anger.
it's a three and a half months they were working on that one, and then that's been fixed in like 20 minutes. It's insane actually. Like
That's
you know,
crazy.
it's crazy. Yeah, those are
That
the
is
similar
crazy.
experience that what I got actually, and then they give a big shout out for me in one of the group like MDS. Yeah, in MDS they give like
Yeah.
a bigger shout out actually, and then I was like, okay, it's pretty good. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And so what about folks who have like multiple listings, lots of ASINs, lots of categories, or catalogs and variations? What strategy do you recommend they employ for kind of getting consistent, accurate data across lots of
You
products?
Oh yeah, I'm like see, this is where you have like the yeah, okay. Yeah, this is where you need to download your catalog listing report for a basic thing. Sometimes that's also a mismatch actually. The catalog listing report and the front end data is also mismatching like a lot of time.
Mm.
There is no any other go other than checking it on your own individual basis. There is no any other way actually on this one. So you can do it either by product catalog listing report. Using the catalog listing report, you can able to consolidate and find out those information, but you still need to go through the BDG guide, find out the corresponding node, each and every product, what is the right product type and item type, what does it looks for, and they needs to have like a base for everything actually. But think about it, if this is a basic thing, it's like a living for it's like you need to eat food to live actually. Like just like this, if you want to be successful in Amazon, this is a basic 101 actually. They talk about so many things about like a ranking and all the split testing, like a price testing and image testing and everything. If this is not right, nothing is going to work out actually for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all of the stuff that's like easily seen on the front and what they think directly impacts the sales versus like you had said before, you can spend tons of money in PPC, but if the back end of it's broken, it's never going to
Yeah,
sell.
it's never going to solve. I mean, of course you can do a multiple ways to bring the sales actually, like bring the external traffic, bring like a run a crazy amount of traffic, bring back the sales that how we wanted. But the Amazon is like a search engine actually. The
Mhm.
search engine is basically how we win sales is basically keyword contribution actually, keyword acquisition basically. If the keyword is not acquired, then you literally sending the traffic from outside to Amazon or doing something external traffic to the Amazon, which you could be potentially can able to bring it to your own website. But that's also sometimes spill over actually. Like somebody is like doing a lot of TikTok, like a traffic actually, but not a lot of people trust TikTok. When they see that one, they go and then purchase it in like Amazon. This happened to us. Look at this. I'm like, when they see an ad in a TV, a lot of people first thing what they do, they don't call the telecaller and make the thing. They go on and check the same product in Amazon. So you can also focus on the products like who's showing up in the telecalls and see that, right? If your product similar product which is like infographic product actually,
Mhm.
like then you go on and check your product sales actually. It can get a little bit spike the time that they're running the ads actually, or because most of the people now making a telecalls are super old actually, and then they're watching the TV and then they automatically go to the Amazon, type, and then look for a product and then buy the product actually.
Mhm.
So we have seen a lot of spikes like that with respect to TikTok, with respect to telecalling, teleshop, and so many things like that.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely always double check the item on TikTok first because there's so many like scam links on these third party sites, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
crazy. It's
totally,
crazy.
totally. Yeah, exactly.
So, how do you stay up to date on Amazon's ever changing policies with like the
Mm.
algorithm and data specifications and the trees and I mean everything?
No, we've been so okay. We are specific. I'm a data special. My career was like built upon like a data actually. We when I was like I was software developer and I was like specifically work on data actually. We manage like close to billions of data. We manage every day like a 300 400 million data when I work for Bank of America.
Wow.
So I love speaking with data. Oh my God, I got doped out of like reading data actually like crazy, right? So the why we were able to find things much better, which is one is like we measure every single thing what we're doing. So when the things are like out of um, out of traction, let's say that it has to be happen. Like when you take a three-step, this will come Amari. When you follow the Google pattern, like this, that place needs to be exists actually, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's open or closed, that's a different story, but that place exists actually, that street is exists there. That's how it is. When you follow a certain step, you will able to have a predictable result. When the predictable result is changed, that's where we ask questions why, and then we don't leave why actually, we go dig into that one. Why is the reason that what is happening, and how can I able to make sure that we can either learn it or we can able to change it. Like what is that we're going to do right now, right? Learn and then take a different route actually. If this is not working, but it's okay, we found a way that this is not working, then we're taking a different route. We just want to make sure whatever we measure, we're taking super amazing turns in terms of like we're measuring in such a way that we are not taking any kind of action based on our emotions. We're taking every action based on the data. If the data says X, we're gonna do that X. Actually, that's all.
So you don't have like an exclusive newsletter from Jeff telling you what's changing. You guys are just measuring and testing against all of
Yeah,
the accounts
e-
then.
everything. Think about
Yeah.
it. You guys do that one actually. Like Getida, you guys are like a biggest one in reimbursement. So you know how to. If one level of reimbursement doesn't work, you know how to change the email. Like, and once you change one email, and you will automatically applies to all of the emails. You don't like stay with like a one account on that email alone, right? You just
Right.
change it for all of the things. So when we launching one product, so that product doesn't work in certain way, and then you automatically like, okay, it doesn't work, that means that that's not going to work in that place, so we're not going to waste money there actually. So
Mhm.
one situation happened. Amazon started testing some new Amazon choice actually recently. So what happened with the one of the launch we're doing, which is basically a new release Amazon choice. Have you ever heard of that? It's crazy.
Mm-mm.
It appears for like 7 days. It appears only just for 7 days. For the product launch, what we did, we got like close to 60 Amazon choice
Wow.
for a 7 days. We got like close to 60 Amazon choice for that specific product, and I was like, it's insane. So what we did is we increase our ranking campaign actually. We run like so much of traffic. We run a traffic for like a product targeting. We run a traffic for so many places actually, and I end up in like we acquire most of the keyword, the 60 keywords. We were like in a 70th position, and we moved to like a fourth position, fifth position, like just like that. Because
Wow.
think about it, the Amazon choice will give a better weightage. You get like a 20% extra than an average CTR actually, and then you get like a better conversion for the keyword. So the customers whoever seeing it, they don't know the difference between the Amazon new release Amazon choice batch and an old Amazon choice batch actually, but we got the
Yeah.
batch that can differentiate it. So when we saw the things, we don't sit down and then we were like, okay, you know what, let's take an action right now. So we take an action, we put up a massive result. So and we did it for a one listing and we saw the same thing for other product. Okay, you know what, do the same thing actually. So we take advantage of that one. We look for the data. We take advantage of for all the listings that we try to launch actually at that point.
Wow. That is a lot. I think this is probably the most technical episode that we have had in a
Uh,
very, very long time. It's a lot to digest, but it's very, very good. But I want to take it just to close out the episode back to the very, very basics. If I am a seller and I'm listing my very first product, what are the first steps that I need to follow to be sure that my listing backend is built correctly?
Okay, yeah. The first thing first, I have a template for that. Actually, the template which is like, what is that? Is looks like is like, okay. First thing first, you need to know what is your competitors are actually. What is your competitor, and where they are, right? You could go to the data dive, check all the listing, what are the keywords you ranked for, and also on top of it, I have a specific template I can forward to you, or if anybody want, you can hit me in the LinkedIn. I can give them this information, which is like, okay, what is the price point? What is the ratings? What is that every information that what data dive also have it actually. On top of it, we have like a GL, what is the DOW, what is the browse notes, what is the category, what is the product, and we have for top 10 people actually. So when we take a look at it, and we also have the keywords, right? So who acquire more keywords and where they are in the browse node actually.
Okay.
So so let's say that the 10 people out of 10 people, like a 4 people, 5 people are in a one browse node, they acquired more number of keywords actually. That means that browse node is like a relevant to that keyword. This is like something called a category based keywords. So
Mhm.
that's what it is most important thing right now. The most important thing is like, okay, this category was able to rank for all these keywords. So it's a better to be focused on this keyword, or you can be like a little bit technical in terms of like, okay, this product type, this item type, this browse node is related. So that means, do we have any cross browse node actually, which means it's the same product type and item type, same GL and same browse node, but there is like another path actually, which is like sometimes it's like a party event party supplies actually, or sometimes you'd be like the another node would be like pa- uh, without event party supplies actually. So both nodes are same weightage actually. You can use one of this to get like a better Amazon or new release batch actually for you. um, so that's how it is. You need to use the template data to make sure that you know find that information correct, to make sure that use the really realistic decision based on data, not by like, oh, this is like a candy, it's a candy product, that's what I'm going to use. No,
Right.
use existing what it is, what they're doing good, and then just focus on replicating somebody's success is the best successful thing what you can do in Amazon actually right now.
Yeah, basing it off of data instead of emotion, like what you had said
Exactly.
before.
Yeah.
Colin, I think it's pretty clear what you do and how you help sellers, but this is the point in the episode where we want to give you an opportunity to speak on your service specifically, where folks can get in touch with you, how you help, and maybe who you help. Is there a specific revenue threshold that you help with, or is it only for new sellers? Kind of tell us about what you do.
Yeah, currently I'm working as a subject matter. So I'm consulting with like a couple of brands right now at this point as a subject matter expert. So here's an issue, right? Most of the sellers we are like, I had to face this issue actually when I've been in Amazon, right, as a seller, and I have to choose whether I have to be a business owner, a brand owner, or I have to be like a subject matter expert on Amazon. It's a lot to carry both actually.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do both actually, right? So when I choose the path of like a business person, I lose attraction of complete Amazon technical and a whole bunch of things. Then at that point, I need to be rely on my technical team, who's like my employees. Any employees who you have who is like a more technical, they end up in like looking for a better salary until otherwise you got somebody's like really great, hold them, protect them. So they were like tend to be like able to be not able to upgrade themselves in what's current market trend is actually, right? So I've been reached out by multiple people like that. So I being like a subject matter expert for the team, I available for the Slack for them. I was like having a weekly calls with them to make sure that the team is available. I'm available for them for any kind of technical issues, any kind of technical help for them to stay on top of the track what they're doing. And also we're doing like a product launch and relaunch for them. So that's exactly what we're doing at this point. We don't want to be like super big. We want to be like a, very small, cozy, and then intimate team actually make sure that serving better needs and then help the what needs to be done. And I don't want to like grow like a 200 people team or 300 people team. I just like to be like small. It's good actually for me. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
I totally understand. I loved what you said about having to decide between being a brand owner and a subject matter expert. Whenever people ask me if I think about selling, I'm like, absolutely not. With what time? I'm happy in service provider land. I'm going to stay right here because it's the people who do both amaze me. I mean, truly yourself and some of the others. I, I don't know
It's
how you do it. So
it's a difficult it's a difficult choice actually, very honestly. Why? Because we got into this business by the choice that how we got into the business is basically by all the Amazon hacks and tricks and a whole bunch of things. That's what we got here. At one point of time, you got so many hats you're wearing, you have to give the responsibility to somebody to carry that, take the role in a better way. But the problem is in the market, like there's no lot of people able to um, carry them with the latest and the greatest information because they don't have the network that what you have actually. They
Mhm.
don't have the information that what you have. They don't have the friends that what you have. Even though you give them all the logins and responsibility, their day-to-day task, it's fill them up. They will be exhausted at the end of the day. They don't have the bandwidth to go and then acquire more until otherwise you give them a more challenge actually.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And also think about the team, it's split up. Like basically a maintenance guy won't do a product launch. A product launch will not do the maintenance. If both the guys there, it's very tough for them to tough for you to hold you in a team because they tend to start their own business. Why they have to work for you for $200,000 or even $100,000? If there's somebody knows how to research product, how to launch product, how to maintain the product very well. Either they can look for a better salary, or they will tend to go for like in the side gig, starting a new starting their own thing. How many people in Amazon were selling Amazon employees who really started the business actually in COVID after COVID?
Yeah.
So everybody see that, oh, if this guy can do it, that happened to me in my team member. So one of the girl I recruited, we trained them from the scratch actually. She's really good. She's really trained very well. And 2 years later, 3 years later, she was like came to me, hey, your podcast inspired me. And then I asked myself, if Colin can do that, I can do it. I already started the brand. I'm making good. Thank you. Appreciate it actually. And I was like, what? What the heck you said? Like it was super interesting. So I was like, the staying on top of the game is the most important thing right now. It's so many changes that are happening with respect to like Amazon is like you cannot do keyword stuffing anymore. It's like
Yep.
you need to be work on like a natural language processing model actually something. Yeah, if you don't test the data, if you don't play with the data, you end up in like one day you'll not able to, you will see that, okay, oh my god, I don't know what happened. I was selling really great. Right now terrible things are happening to me actually.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, a reality for a lot of sellers. And if you haven't had that reality yet and you're interested in getting Colin's template for launching the brand that he had mentioned before, like I said, you can reach out to him on LinkedIn or you can email him directly at colin.raja at Content Group LLC. That's Colin, COLIN dot RAJA at contentgroupllc.com. Colin, thank you so much for being here today, sharing this time and all of this expertise with me and with the audience today. Again, super technical episode, but very, very informative. I appreciate you bringing a completely fresh skill set and vocabulary to the Sellernomics stage, truly.
I'm super glad actually. I'm super glad. Oh my god, you had amazing questions. Trust me, you asked like a crazy great questions, but nobody ask about these things like that. Which is like great. I mean, like the better questions have a better answer, and then you pulled a lot of things out of me actually for sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. And thank you so much for everyone who tuned in today. If you liked what you heard, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, share your thoughts with us in the comments, subscribe to the show, and we will see you all on the next one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, Getida. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.